648 and 663511, all the state of Texas versus Mark Lopez.
Yes, sir.
Are you Mark Lopez?
Yes, sir.
Would you raise your right hand? You solemnly swear that in this proceeding, the information and responses you submit will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, Your Honor.
Very good. You may put your hand down. Mr. Lopez, you've been a busy rascal. You've got 4 criminal behaviors that were charged against you. You're fortunate that you've got a good lawyer that got you out of 2 of them. And the other 2, if you behave yourself, for all intents and purposes, are going to be dismissed. I kind of have my doubts that you're going to be able to do this, because you're going to have to live up to 100% of the conditions of supervision, every bit of it. And I am a little bit doubtful about you based on your history as we see it. Now, before we proceed, I'm going to explain to you and discuss with you your constitutional rights and protections. They apply to all 4 cases. We're doing this verbally, but it is being recorded by my court reporter, Ms. Kayleen Rivera.
Yes, sir.
You have a right in each of the 4 cases, you have a right to remain silent. That means you don't have to make any kind of statement. You don't have to answer any questions. You don't have to sign any papers on any of these cases. Do you understand you have the right to remain silent?
Yes, Your Honor.
You have the right to a jury trial on all 4 cases, meaning that you and your attorney and the state's attorneys on each of the 4 individual cases can select 6 people from a jury panel or a jury pool of made up of individual disinterested citizens who would give you a trial, who would hear everything and decide whether you are not guilty or whether you've been proven guilty beyond reasonable doubt. That's called the right to a jury trial. Do you understand you have that in each case?
Yes, Your Honor.
You have the right to confront witnesses. If you decided to go to trial on any one or all 4 of the cases, the state would have to prove up the case by presenting evidence through witnesses. You and your attorney would have the right to question, cross-examine, or challenge any witness who would testify. That's called the right to confront witnesses. Do you understand you have that right in each case?
Yes, Your Honor.
You also have the right of appeal. Once everything is said and done and finished, you and your attorney have the right to appeal. That's essentially the right to demand that a higher court review the official record and the evidence in each case and decide any legal challenge that you might have. Now, you have to be careful. I need you to understand that a right to appeal is considerably technical. You have to know how to do it by way of the forms and the substance you have to present. It also includes things like time limitations within which you'd have to take your steps or do your work. That's called the right of appeal. Do you understand that that right exists?
Yes, Your Honor.
Finally, you have the right to demand that any or all of these cases be heard in the open public courtroom. It's required by Constitution and law. But because of the COVID pandemic, we're doing basically emergency type things where we're hearing and doing these hearings by video conference. That's what we're doing here. We're on a video conference. Do you understand you have the right to demand a public courtroom hearing?
Yes, Your Honor.
In order for us to proceed then, you'll have to submit I have seen the forms, you have to sign, as does the state, by the way, because the state has the same right to a public courtroom hearing. You have to sign what's called a consent to video conference. And so does the state. Do you understand you have that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, now let's talk about what's going on here. You've got 4 cases. You're going to enter pleas on 2 of them.
Yes.
In each case, you have documents, forms that have your signature that are part of these records. Those forms, I believe you reviewed them and had the assistance and the counsel or the guidance of your attorney on each one. Is that correct?
Yes.
So any form that has your signature, you signed it with your attorney's help and you understood what you signed.
Yes.
All right. Mr. Parra, did you assist your client in reviewing the documents that he has signed for these pleadings?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you yourself sign a document particularly that affirms that the state has complied with Article 39.14 Texas Code of Criminal Procedure in that they have provided all of the discovery that is required by law?
I did, Your Honor, and the state has.
All right. Now, Mr. Lopez, you
Yes.
yourself on each of these 2 cases, 656-849 and 663-510, you have signed a document that consents to the video conference. Is that correct on each one?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. You've also signed an important document on each one, and an extensive document. It's called Defendant's Waiver of Constitutional Rights and Court's Admonitions. Each document tells you, it identifies you, and it tells you on each case separately what you're charged with, what you're going to plead to, what your plea will be. Also, the documents tell you it is broken into 15 numbered parts, and it reminds you, among other things, of all the rights in writing, the rights and protections that you have. Is that correct? You remember that?
Yes, Your Honor.
It also tells you on each case that whatever deal you make with the state, it is not required for me to accept it. I can say yes or I can say no. Now, by law, I have to say yes or no. I have to accept it or reject it. I can also give you any punishment for each particular case within the range of punishment that's set up by law, even if I give you a punishment that's heavier or greater than what you agreed to. Now, if I reject your deal, your agreement, or if I give you a punishment that is heavier than what you've agreed to, in either case, the law would allow you to start all over again. And nothing that you've said or signed up till now would be used against you. Is that clear?
Yes, Your Honor.
Including in these warnings and part of this paperwork, it says, and there's a separate paper also that tells you that I explained to you, you have the right of appeal, but in this particular instance, on these 2 cases where you've made an agreement, it's called a plea bargain, you will have no right of appeal. Do you understand all that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you have any questions? What are we talking about?
No.
Okay. Now, and finally, you've made what's called a plea agreement that specifically details how you're pleading to each case and the punishment for each case. Now, I'm aware that you are applying for and being granted deferred adjudication. Mr. Parra has given you your greatest birthday gift that you can have under the circumstances. First of all, you've been involved in significant criminal activity, nothing felonious, but you're heading that way. The problem is that he has gotten you an agreement for deferred adjudication on 2 cases, and the other 2 are going to be dismissed. Deferred adjudication is a written, legal, binding agreement between you and this court. And that agreement basically says that you will live up to and comply with 100%. You know what that means? Every
Yeah.
bit of the conditions of supervision. Now, conditions of supervision are going to be read to you. You're going to sign them, and you'll have a copy in your hands. You will not be able to come back later and tell me, well, I didn't know that I had to do this, or I didn't know that I couldn't do that. You will know. It'll be read to you. You'll sign it. It'll be in your hands. Now, deferred adjudication, the big and important part of that is that Mr. Parra has gotten the agreement that even though you will enter a plea for which I can find you guilty on each case, I'm not going to find you guilty. Instead, I'm going to defer or postpone that finding. And I will give you a jail sentence. I will defer that for X amount of months each. And if you live up to 100% of the conditions of supervision, then the cases will be dismissed without the finding of guilt, meaning you've never been convicted of these charges under Texas law. That's very beneficial to you, especially at your age. Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, let's give you a warning. If you screw up and you fail or refuse to live up to every bit of the conditions that you're agreeing to do, that you're accepting, then the state may give me or ask me to give you official notice, bring you in for a hearing. And if I believe it's appropriate and it'll be my decision, then I can enter a finding of guilt, convict you, and punish you. The punishment will be the full range of punishment for the type of crime that we're talking about. And I'll give you that detail shortly. Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
Yes, Your Honor.
You've gotten a hell of a break so far.
I know.
You're not going to get it again, though. I will tell you that.
I understand.
All right. Now, where were you born, sir?
I'm sorry, what?
Where were you born?
I was born here, San Antonio.
All right. The record will reflect that you are a U.S. citizen.
Yeah.
So now, on 656-849, the charge is possession of a controlled substance. Give me the details again, state, for the record.
I'm
Yes, Your
sorry.
Honor. As far as the plea deal or which cases he's pleading to?
656-849, possession of controlled substance. Give me some more detail on that.
Yes. The agreement is that Mr. Lopez will enter a no contest plea for 18 months deferred adjudication.
Wait. The specific charge, possession of a controlled substance, what?
Penalty group 3, less than 28 grams.
All right. And yet that one is a class B?
Class A, Your Honor.
A?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, they're both A's then.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, to case number 656-849, possession of controlled substance, class 3, less than 28 grams. How do you plead, sir?
No content.
You understand that a no contest plea is considered a guilty plea by this court and is sufficient for me to convict you.
I'm sorry, what?
Do you understand that a no contest plea is a guilty plea in this court and is sufficient for me to convict you?
Yes.
All right. And to case number 663-510, unlawfully carrying a weapon, also a class A misdemeanor. How do you plead to that, sir?
No content.
Again, a no contest plea is considered a guilty plea in this court and is sufficient for me to give you a final conviction. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Both are Class A misdemeanors. The punishment for them is a fine from $0 to $4,000 each, and jail from 0 days to 1 year. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Now, I find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty, but I do not find you guilty. Instead, I am honoring the agreement that has been made between you, your lawyer, and the state. Specifically, you are granted, what is it, 14 months?
Your
I
Honor,
think
the
it was
agreement was for 18 months according to the paperwork, but I know that the defense has made a
18 months.
request for less.
Let me double sure here, 18 months deferred adjudication
Yes, Your Honor.
on each case.
Yes, Your Honor, to run concurrent.
Yes, okay. 18 months deferred adjudication. Fine of, what's the fine?
$500.
Sorry, Judge, I didn't realize it was muted. The fine is $500 with have to be probated.
I'm sorry?
$500, probate 250 of that.
Boy, this kid's getting a birthday and a half. I don't know that I agree with it, but we'll see. Probate on each case, a fine of $500 plus court
Yes, Your
costs.
Honor.
Probate 250 on each
Yes,
case.
Your Honor. To run concurrent.
Yes, I understand.
Okay.
I need you to listen to me real careful here, Mr. Lopez. I'm not finished yet, but I need you to understand one thing. You screw up and don't do what you're supposed to on this, and the state brings you back in. If I find you guilty, if I make a finding of guilt and convict you, that'll follow you the rest of your life. Not only that, you won't be looking at a $500 fine and probate 250. You'll be looking at a fine of $4,000, $0 to $4,000. You understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is that nice and clear? All right.
Yes, Your Honor.
So then you are ordered to appear in the offices of County Court at Law Number 5. It's in the hallway behind the courtroom, so that you can have your thumbprint placed on the documents as required by law. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. What else? What are the other conditions?
Your Honor, those are to be complete 75 hours of community service.
75 hours.
Yes, Your Honor. Submit to a gang evaluation.
Gang evaluation.
Submit for regular urinalysis tests.
Regular UAs.
Complete DOEP.
DOEP.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Drug Offender Education Program.
Complete APSE.
ATSE.
AP, Your Honor. The
AP
anger management
like
course.
Paul.
Yes, Your Honor.
Anger management stuff. Okay.
Complete firearm safety course.
I'm sorry. Safety
Complete
course.
Yes, Your Honor. And the firearms in each of the UCW cases are to be forfeited to the district attorney's office.
I'm having a lot of trouble hearing you, Ms. House. I'm sorry. It's almost like a little bit of an echo in your office. Say it again, the last part.
The firearms in both UCW cases are to be forfeited to the district attorney's office.
What kind of firearms are we talking about?
One
Mr.
second,
Parra,
Your
tell
Honor.
me what we're talking about.
Judge, I didn't hear the first part of what you said. Can you repeat that?
I want to know what the firearms are, the handguns. What
Well,
are
the
they?
first, Ms. Lopez, correct me if I'm wrong, the first one was a Glock,
It was a Glock 26.
Glock 26. I'm not very good
All right.
on firearms, Judge. My apologies. I have to go to my
That's
notes.
all right, I am. What about the other one, Mr. Lopez?
I don't remember. I know it was a Glock.
So you had 2 Glocks?
Yes, Your Honor.
You
Your Honor, I
have,
believe it was a Glock 31 that was modified to be fully automatic.
whoa. You're lucky you didn't get a federal charge. All right. Anything else?
No, Your Honor, that is all.
These 2 punishments are to run concurrent.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, how do you make a living, Mr. Lopez?
I do side jobs with plumbing. I'm a plumber helper.
And how much money do you make in a month when you're really working?
I really can't tell you. Probably about 3,000 to 2,500.
A week?
No, a month.
I didn't think so. All right. You don't have any kids?
No, Your Honor. No, Your Honor.
Your supervisory fee,
I'm sorry?
your supervisory fee will be $52 a month.
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you have any questions, Mr. Lopez?
No, Your Honor.
Before you leave, stay here on the internet. You will meet with Ms. Maricela Luna. It's under M. Luna CLO. She will get you started on the path to probation. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Besides appearing in the court for your fingerprints, you're going to appear at the probation office. They will read to you all the conditions that you have to live up to, and you will sign them, and they will put a written copy in your hands. Do you understand me?
Yes, Your Honor.
I will not tolerate somebody telling me I didn't know the conditions. Oh, you will know. It'll be read to you. You'll sign them. You'll have a copy in your hands. All right. Questions, Mr. Lopez?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Meet with Ms. Luna. Question, Mr. Parra.
Just one question, Your Honor. So as far as the question I asked for earlier.
No, sir, you can forget about that.
Thank you.
He's lucky. He's very lucky that he hasn't had the book thrown at him.
I understand, Your Honor.
A young fellow that age carrying around the weapons that he was carrying around, particularly the modified one, man, that just really chaps me, because that is a highly dangerous situation that he put himself in, and the community.
I understand.
So you be aware, Mr. Lopez and Mr. Parra, that if you come back here with any violations, especially weapons violations, you better pray the evidence is just no good. Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
Yes, Your Honor.
You better. All right, Mr. Parra, no, his birthday, he's already gotten 4 birthdays and a very lenient fine, because if it was up to me, a $250 fine on these circumstances, it's because he's so young, I'm letting him get away with it, to be honest with you, but he should be fined $1,000 for each case, but I'll let it slide. That's the agreement the state has made. I don't really like it, but that's okay. I don't have to.
Thank you, Your Honor, for your
Any other
consideration.
question, Mr. Parra? Good try. I understand you're advocating for your client.
No other questions, Your Honor.
All right. Questions, Ms. Haas?
No, Your Honor.